Imagine you're stepping into a mental sparring match where your opponent is not another fighter, but her ego. This isn't a physical battle, but a strategic game where endurance, patience, and clever tactics are key. Like a skilled strategist, your goal is to manage the situation, shift the power dynamics, and ultimately bring her inflated self-assurance down to a more reasonable level. In the wise words of Niccolo Machiavelli from The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Machiavelli understood the necessity of establishing respect and authority first. In our context, this means not allowing her ego to overshadow your own self-worth or dictate your actions. Instead, you're regaining control without engaging in petty conflicts. Handling her ego isn't about changing her behavior directly, but about letting her feel the impact of her actions through your measured responses. Silence, distance, and indifference can be incredibly powerful tools. Sun Tzu, the ancient strategist in The Art of War, emphasized the importance of restraint and patience. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. By not reacting to every provocation, you let her recognize the futility of her actions on her own. Our aim here is to walk you through 5 strategic moves to manage her ego effectively and make her reconsider underestimating your resilience. This approach is not about creating conflict, but about reclaiming control, one calculated step at a time. 1. Silent treatment. Silence can be a potent tool in realigning the dynamic when her ego becomes overbearing. If you're constantly available, always responding to texts immediately, and rushing to mend every disagreement, you inadvertently inflate her sense of control. Your eagerness to engage can give her the impression that she holds all the power in the relationship. But what happens when you suddenly go silent? The absence of your usual responses can speak volumes. Instead of always explaining yourself or rushing to apologize, let silence create space for reflection. When she doesn't get the immediate attention she's used to, she's left to ponder her own behavior. Silence can make her question her actions and wonder why you're not reacting. Men often make the mistake of thinking they need to fill every silence with words to avoid being seen as indifferent. However, strategic silence shows that your time and attention are valuable. Not responding to every text or call right away signals that you have other priorities. This can make her reconsider her assumptions about your availability and importance in her life. Many men fear that silence will push her away for good, thinking she'll interpret it as a lack of interest. But silence, when used correctly, can actually draw her closer. It creates a space where she starts to miss your presence and values your attention more. 2. Establishing boundaries. Setting clear and firm boundaries is essential when dealing with someone with a pronounced ego. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about defining what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior towards you. This helps in asserting your self-respect and dignity without engaging in unnecessary conflicts. When you establish boundaries, you communicate that you value yourself and your well-being. This might mean limiting your availability, refusing to engage in toxic arguments, or not tolerating disrespect. For instance, if she frequently makes demands on your time that interfere with your personal or professional life, clearly state your limits. You might say, "I need to focus on my work right now. We can talk later." Consistent boundaries also help in maintaining a balanced relationship where both parties respect each other's space and individuality. It shows that you are confident and secure enough not to let her ego dictate your actions. This balance often makes her reevaluate her behavior and consider your needs and boundaries more seriously. 3. Practicing detachment. Detachment does not mean being cold or indifferent. It means not letting her actions and words affect your emotional state. By practicing emotional detachment, you maintain your inner peace and stability, regardless of her ego-driven behavior. This strategy involves not taking her comments or actions personally. If she tries to provoke you or get a reaction, remain calm and composed. Understand that her need to assert dominance often stems from her own insecurities, not your inadequacies. By not feeding into the drama, you take away the fuel her ego needs to thrive. Detachment also allows you to observe the situation more objectively. You can respond with reason and logic rather than reacting impulsively. This measured approach can disarm her ego and make her reconsider her behavior as she realizes that her attempts to control or belittle you are ineffective. 4. Highlighting her positive traits. Sometimes the best way to handle someone's ego is to acknowledge their positive traits genuinely. Complimenting her strengths and acknowledging her achievements can help satisfy her need for validation in a healthy way. This approach can redirect her focus from seeking constant external validation to appreciating the recognition she receives from you. By genuinely appreciating her qualities, you build a positive reinforcement loop. For example, if she excels at a particular skill or has achieved something noteworthy, acknowledge it. Say something like, "I really admire how dedicated you are to your work. It's inspiring." This can soften her ego's edges and make her feel valued without needing to overcompensate with egoistic behavior. However, ensure that your compliments are sincere and specific. Generic flattery can come across as insincere and may not have the desired effect. Authentic recognition fosters a more balanced and respectful relationship. 5. Being unpredictable. An effective way to manage her ego is to introduce an element of unpredictability in your interactions. When you are too predictable, she can easily anticipate your reactions and use them to her advantage. By occasionally changing your routine or responses, you keep her guessing and prevent her from feeling too secure in her control over you. Unpredictability can mean varying your responses, changing plans occasionally, or surprising her with unexpected gestures. For example, if you usually agree to all her suggestions, try proposing something different once in a while. This keeps the relationship dynamic and shows that you have your own preferences and opinions. This unpredictability can make her realize that she cannot take you for granted. It adds a layer of complexity to the relationship, making it more interesting and challenging for her. When she cannot predict your every move, she is more likely to respect you and reconsider her ego-driven actions. 6. Focusing on self-improvement. One of the most powerful ways to handle her ego is to focus on your self-improvement. When you invest time and effort into bettering yourself, whether it's through personal development, learning new skills, or pursuing hobbies, you become more confident and self-assured. This internal growth can shift the power dynamics in the relationship. As you improve yourself, you naturally command more respect and admiration. She will notice your progress and the positive changes in you. This can make her reevaluate her behavior and how she interacts with you. Moreover, your self-improvement journey can inspire her to reflect on her own actions and consider areas where she might need to grow. Self-improvement also means you are less dependent on her validation for your self-worth. This independence can be very attractive and can shift the balance of power in your favor. When you are confident in your abilities and achievements, her ego has less impact on you, and she will likely adjust her behavior accordingly. 7. Leveraging humor. Humor can be an excellent tool in dealing with someone with a large ego. When used correctly, it can diffuse tension, create a more relaxed atmosphere, and subtly highlight the absurdity of certain ego-driven behaviors. By injecting humor into your interactions, you can handle difficult situations with grace and ease. For instance, if she makes a grandiose statement about her accomplishments, you can lightly tease her with a smile, saying something like, "Wow, are you sure you're not the superhero we've all been waiting for?" This playful approach can make her reflect on her words without feeling attacked or belittled. Humor also helps in showing that you don't take her ego too seriously, which can make her reconsider the need to maintain such a facade. However, it's crucial to be sensitive and ensure that your jokes are light-hearted and not hurtful. The goal is to lighten the mood and gently remind her that not everything needs to be taken so seriously. 8. Encouraging open communication. Open and honest communication is key to addressing issues related to ego. Encourage her to express her thoughts and feelings openly, and be willing to share yours as well. By fostering a culture of transparency, you can address underlying issues that might be driving her ego-driven behavior. When communicating, focus on using I statements rather than you statements to avoid sounding accusatory. For example, say, "I feel unappreciated when my efforts are overlooked," instead of, "You never appreciate what I do." This approach makes it easier for her to understand your perspective without feeling attacked. Active listening is also crucial. Make sure to genuinely listen to what she has to say, validate her feelings, and provide constructive feedback. This can help in building a stronger, more respectful relationship where both parties feel heard and valued. 9. Celebrating mutual success. Another effective way to manage her ego is by celebrating mutual successes rather than individual achievements. Shift the focus from her personal accolades to shared victories. This approach fosters a sense of teamwork and collaboration, reducing the emphasis on individual ego. When you achieve something together, whether it's a project at work or a personal milestone, celebrate it as a team. Highlight how both of you contributed to the success and express gratitude for her efforts. For example, you might say, "We really nailed that project together. Your insights were invaluable, and I'm glad we made such a great team." This shift in focus from me to we helps in creating a more balanced dynamic. It reinforces the idea that working together leads to greater accomplishments, and it reduces the need for her to constantly assert her individual superiority. Over time, this can lead to a healthier, more cooperative relationship, where ego takes a backseat to mutual respect and collaboration. Dealing with a large ego, especially in a romantic relationship, can be challenging. However, by employing these strategies, such as maintaining your composure, setting clear boundaries, offering sincere praise, practicing active listening, promoting mutual respect, and using humor, you can create a healthier dynamic. Encouraging open communication and celebrating mutual success can also significantly reduce ego-driven tensions. Remember, the key is not to diminish her sense of self-worth, but to create a more balanced and respectful relationship where both parties feel valued and appreciated. By doing so, you foster an environment where true connection and understanding can flourish, paving the way for a stronger and more fulfilling relationship. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more relationship advice and insights. Let's continue to grow and learn together on this journey to better relationships. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.